Welcome to Homegrown Wealth, where you get the knowledge on using home ownership to help you build wealth. In this episode, we're going to delve deep into the cost of being a homeowner. So this is beyond the mortgage payment. This is everything that comes after the mortgage payment. We're going to discuss property taxes, HOA fees, emergency repairs, renovations, all that good stuff. So that way you have the knowledge to make proper and more informed decisions. When you sign up for home ownership, you sign up for the comfort of knowing that you're going to be building wealth with this home purchase. No one wants to buy a home and find out that they're actually losing any wealth or any equity that they're planning to have in their home. So that benefit comes with responsibilities. Those responsibilities are more than a mortgage: utilities, maintenance, renovations, seasonal flowers, all kind of things. So let's delve deep into what those are. When you buy a home, typically now most people are either getting a 30-year fixed rate or they're getting a 15-year fixed rate, which means your principal payment and the interest are pretty much going to stay the same for either 30 years or 15 years. Now, property taxes and homeowner insurance is also included in your mortgage payment. It's called your escrow account. Now, the two controllables, let me say the two uncontrollables, are that homeowners insurance can go up. You always have the option to shop around to try to find a cheaper quote or a better quote. I always tell my clients it's best if you can bundle. So if you have a car, if you have a boat, if you have a motorcycle, the more things you have up under that umbrella usually is the better rate that you'll get with that homeowners insurance company. But insurance can fluctuate. Property taxes are a really big topic right now because a lot of people are starting to feel an increase in their mortgage, and it's not necessarily the homeowner's insurance, it's the property taxes. A lot of counties have actually now started to reassess these properties. I know there were properties that I sold at least 5 years ago to where property taxes in that specific area may have been $1,500 and now they have doubled, so they're $3,000. So that is causing mortgage payments to go up, where some people are seeing an increase of anywhere from $100 to $200 or above, depending on where you live and what your home is assessed for. So when it comes to property taxes, I wish I could tell you there was a way to lessen that bill. Really, the only thing you can do if you feel like your assessment is not correct is to go to the county's office and speak with the department that handles the property taxes to see if they will give you a reassessment on value. But typically that is something that I tell people that you need to plan for in the long run. I think that in the past it wasn't as big as it is now, just because there are so many areas with different homes and different price ranges being built. And when that comes about, you are seeing an increase in your property taxes. So definitely plan for that. When you're doing your mortgage payment, lenders usually have a set amount that, they have to allot for when it comes to your debt to income ratio. Always do what you feel comfortable. If you know that you can only afford $2,000 a month, ask the lender what price range is going to keep you there. Because like I said, you have to prepare for these expenses as they come up. Unfortunately, you can't change your property taxes. The only way to get a cheaper property tax is to sell your current home and then get into something that is going to be of less value. That's the only way to get out of property taxes. Now, beyond property taxes and homeowners insurance, let's get into some stuff that will need to take place. So, emergencies happen. Houses are nothing but another child. That's what I tell all my clients. They are literally a baby. And you have to take care of that baby. And you have to make sure that the maintenance systems are taken care of. Your HVAC, get it serviced. It's worth it. It's twice a year. The springtime, going right into the wintertime. You want to make sure that you have heat. You want to make sure you have air, especially in the South. We need the air. Let's see. Your roof, just keep an eye out, especially if there's a big storm that has taken place. Monitor your roof, monitor your ceiling. Do you see a new brown spot? Does it look wet? Go ahead and get on top of that before it really gets bad. Some leaks aren't bad and they can be patched with like a shingle repair. If it gets too bad and you let it continue to leak, you're going to mess up the wood up underneath the roof and you're going to mess up the sheetrock. So it's a bigger repair when you don't jump on it right away. it leads into more things. Another repair, keeping up with your water heater. I know that they do recommend once a year to drain it. If you do have a water heater that actually does store the water, if you have a tankless water heater, you don't really have to go that route. So making sure you're keeping up with those main items. I get a lot of clients a lot of times when they have a vacant home, they just want to shut off everything. They're like, hey, can I cut off the power? Can I cut off the water? And I'm like, no, because we need to be running those pipes. We need to run the water. We need to flush toilets. Plus, people have to, they have to be able to see, and they want to make sure that things work as they're viewing the home. So it's really important to stay on top of those issues, well, the maintenance systems when it comes to your home. Now, one thing I always recommend, and I'm getting to that point now, I've been in my home 6 years. It is going to be time for us to soon repaint. And not every room, but the high traffic areas, coming into our kitchen, coming into our living room, where we tend to have guests, where we tend to like pretty much be more recreational in. I would say it's up to you. I would say every 5 years, you'll probably want to look at repainting. That is something you can do yourself. You can watch YouTube videos, you can tape off correctly, or if you're like me, you just want to hire somebody to do the hard work for you, have ads. When it comes to the electrical, I actually have a client right now. Her home inspection report was actually great. It wasn't really bad, but there was a lot of electrical on there because she has an older home. I think it was built more so in the 70s. So there is a lot that needs to be updated when it comes to the electrical. So that is something to pay attention to. Now, I know you're thinking, well, Jill, what about the home inspection? Like, what did that show? So let me address that. The home inspection is going to check all those major components. They're going to check the roof. They're going to check the structure. They're going to check the plumbing. They're going to check the electrical. Now, they can only check what they have access to. So being able to go into the walls and take a look at plumbing or electrical, that's just not possible. Now, you do have some home inspectors to where they can actually send little cameras down into the pipes and take a look. The more you're willing to pay for certain services, the more you will get out your home inspection. Now, if you keep it basic and say, hey, I want the cheapest home inspection that I can get, that's what you're going to get. And it will address things, but you might not find out everything. So you also have to remember, too, that repairs are a negotiation, not just because if something is wrong that the sellers will fix it. But 9 times out of 10, most sellers do say, hey, we'll address the major stuff. Some of the smaller minor things we'll leave off if it's too expensive. But your home inspection report will address your roof, your structure, plumbing, and electrical. Now, the things that would be additional, if the house has a septic system, then what will happen is that you will need to hire a septic company to do what is called a septic inspection. Do that. Because when I replaced mine, when I moved into my house, it was $5,000. Probably has almost doubled in that time period. So that's a $10,000 repair if you got to replace the whole thing. A HVAC inspection. Most companies, home inspection companies now, will pair with the HVAC inspector or HVAC technician to come out and take a look at the unit. When a home inspector tests the HVAC system, they're just looking for maybe a 15-degree differential in the temperature of the home. So they're not going to go outside. They're not going to pull it apart. They're not going to take a look at the coils. They're not going to check anything else beyond that. If you want an in-depth HVAC inspection, especially if you go look at the home while showing it and that unit looks old, yeah, go ahead. If they haven't replaced it within the last, 5 or so years, it's worth you knowing whether or not you're going to have to do some major repair work to it. Then you have what's called a HOA. So most properties now are in a HOA. Most of the first-time home buyers, because of the price point, will probably be in a subdivision that has a HOA. All HOAs aren't bad. I think that HOAs get a bad rep. I'm going to be honest with you. If I lived in a subdivision with an HOA, I'd probably be the president, or at least would be on the board. HOAs are there to protect your property value. They are there to help keep up the neighborhood. They are there to help make improvements over time that need to be made. They are not bad. Now, you may have bad people on there, but that's a totally different subject. But Typically, most HOAs are a yearly fee. I always tell my clients, like, if they want to see if it can be broken down, just reach out to the HOA management company. They can tell them if you can pay quarterly, if you can pay twice a year, or if they just want the one-time payment at the beginning or either the end of the year. So to me, I think it's worth it because most subdivisions now are coming with pools and like nice areas like outside to where if you want to host an event, birthday parties or small gatherings, you have those type of areas now, some of the subdivisions to where you can do those things. Let's get into some of the fun stuff. Renovations. So if you decide to renovate your home, always have a little cushion. And the reason why I say that, because you're going to be taking down walls. You don't know what's been going on behind that wall for however long. It might be a big surprise. It might be just fine. You just never know. But let's say if you're renovating your bathroom and you just happen to take down the wall with the shower and you find out that the shower has been leaking onto the wood for the last 5 to 10 years. Now that wood is completely soft, it needs to be replaced. Well, that's called reframing, part of the structure. It is not going to be a cheap repair. So you always need to leave cushion when you're doing renovations, or be strategic about your renovations. If you have a way to bypass, let's say, taking down a load-bearing wall, I would probably do so, because if you're going to open up a load-bearing wall, you're going to put up a steel beam. That is also very expensive. So I would say definitely pair with someone or definitely get with a contractor. Please let them be a state-approved, licensed, insurance, and bonded contractor, okay? And let them walk you through what would probably be the best way to renovate your home that is not going to cost you any extra money. And be completely honest with the contractor. Say, hey, look, I want to do my bathroom. I only want to do it for $10,000 to $15,000. What can I get with $10,000 to $15,000? And that way you know how to scale your budget. It just helps make the whole process just a little bit simpler. In all, the smartest way to cushion yourself against an inevitable maintenance cost of home ownership is to create and frequently supply a home maintenance budget. So if you just want to have a savings account somewhere that you're just slipping some money into, I always tell everybody, if it's that type of account, don't make it available to online banking. Make it somewhere across town that you have to walk into and you have to physically see it and touch it in order to get it out. And just let it stack up. And by the time you get ready to do something, you should have plenty in there to where you're able to take advantage. There are also certain banks that offer specific loans when it comes to home renovations that can help you with that. You also have what's called a HELOC. So it's a home equity line of credit, to where it's more like a credit card using your home's equity to where you can take out funds to make those purchases or renovations or home maintenance for emergencies when needed. How much should you put back into your monthly home maintenance budget? State Farm recommends between 1% to 4% of your home's value. So if your home is valued at $500,000, then that should be somewhere between $5,000 to $20,000. All right, so now it's questions, and I love these. I love when y'all send in questions. So let's get into the first one. The first question says, I have been lucky and have not had any major repairs to my home in 3 years I've lived here. Can I use my emergency fund to update my bathroom? I would say it depends on how much you have in your emergency fund. If you know you have more than enough and the renovation of your bathroom is not going to be expensive, go for it. I mean, if you're still going to have some left over and you're still prepared for an emergency to come up, definitely go for it. Everybody loves a new bathroom. Question number 2, home warranty, insurance, home maintenance account. What's the purpose and what do they serve? So home warranty is what insurance will not cover. So typically, like with homeowners insurance, let me tell you what they will cover. What they used to cover. So you could get a roof replacement if you've had storm damage to your roof. You can get like your roof replaced. If there is some major issue involving, say, like active leak that maybe has taken over, your home has flooded, whatever the cost would be to get that taken care of would be included in homeowners insurance. If there is any natural disaster that occurs and you have damage to your home, homeowners insurance would step up and take care of that. Now, home warranty. Let's say that, you're doing laundry, your washer and your dryer go out. You know, the home warranty that you may have may cover your washer and dryer to where they're going to send out a repairman to try to fix it first. If they can't fix it, then they will discuss with you the options that you have as far as replacing that appliance. If your HVAC is to go out, then they will send a technician out to take a look at it, see if it can be fixed. If it can't be fixed, then they will go over options on what it would be to replace it and what they would kick in, and if you would need to kick in anything. Now, home warranties are something that can be purchased at closing and kept up every year. You can purchase it flat out on your own as well, too, if you already own a home. I would say definitely research the companies, because every company is different on what they will and will not take care of. I mean, go to Reddit boards, everything. Find out what people are really saying. Are they giving them hassle, when they call in with the maintenance requests, with the repair, anything like that. And your home maintenance account is just an account that you put back for. Typically, let's say if your roof does get replaced with insurance, well, depending on what your, it slipped. But it's a correct name for this. I'm just brain fogged right now to not think of that name. Your deductible. So you may have a deductible. They may say, hey, we'll replace your roof. The roof's going to cost $10,000. You have a deductible of $2,500 you'll have to pay out before we cover the rest. So having that home maintenance account or that emergency fund will take care of that $2,500, so where you're not having to stress on how to come up with the $2,500 for insurance to kick in the rest. So those are the differences between the three. Our history note. So one of the first defenses for paying for unexpected home repairs was a home warranty. The modern warranty industry started in the 1970s and provided both financial cushion and vendors to help homeowners make, repair, or replace household appliances like refrigerators, washer machines, and major systems such as your HVAC. See, they're actually good. Sometimes we negotiate these for first-time home buyers. So this brings us to the end of the episode. I really enjoyed this one today. So these are a few takeaways that I want you to have. 1, your inspection report should have listed items that needed repair or replacement. This is a guide to your home's health. Items that need prioritizing should always be budgeted for, so that in the event they stop working, you can make that repair. Number 2, set an emergency account and try to put back at least 1 to 4% of your home's value for any unexpected costs. 3, consider if a home warranty is right for you. To be honest with you, I feel like you can't go wrong. If you have one, you have one. Just make sure that they are a good, reputable company. And 4, if you need a service person, check their reviews. Ask people, check their licensing, check their insurance. If anyone that you get to work on your home does not want to hand over their insurance information or their license number, that is a major red flag. Please pay attention to that red flag, okay? Because they should be handing you that information. Invest in professional service. Cutting corners will cost you. It will cost you either in the front end or the back end or somewhere in the middle. So just be wise when hiring contractors to do work on your home. I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Make sure you like and share. And if you have any questions, always feel free to send them in. Bye.